Hello, hello, hello. Mic check. Mic check. Make sure the YouTube is working. What's going on? What's going on? A mic checky checky. Y'all hearing me okay? Yo, what's up? Whoa, what the heck? Let me get this chat integrated because right now it's not showing up on my stream. See if I can get that fixed. YouTube has been being weird for some reason with the chat, like integrating it into other things. Let's try again. There we go. Yeah. Ooh, it's tiny, teeny, tiny. But it'll do for now. It'll have to do for now. Take a swig of my drink right quick. What's up, man? How you doing? Osman? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I'm sorry. All right. Cool. All right. Hello. What is going on? Welcome to Where is the Line? This is slowly turning into a podcast of sorts, or a live show where it's going to be broken down. That's the goal with the short form of it, the shorter form and short form of it. But this is where I sit down and have a conversation with you guys. Hopefully it becomes more participatory. I have some hopefully big announcements in the future with some people that I plan on interviewing. Nothing yet. No promises yet. I hope that I can land some awesome interviews for you guys. But for now, we're going to continue to talk about important topics. And one of the most important topics right now is just the overall state of MAGA, right? You know, they're going to be eager to call it Trump derangement syndrome, or they're going to be eager to call you a liberal or label you something that doesn't warrant their time or attention. But it does warrant attention talking about what they're doing, right? And it's such a broad term. I like to break it down a little bit, right? I consider anybody, right? This is my definition. This isn't like if you look it up in Google or Webster, it's not going to be there. I'm just using this term to help communicate the overall point, which it isn't MAGA. It's just what's happening and who's doing it, essentially, right? And how they're doing it, how they're getting away with it. And so what that means is we got to just understand it better. Right? We don't always have to be mad and hostile. It is annoying. It is frustrating. I get it. Not every day do I want to be angry and mad and yell. Things will make me mad, and I'm allowing myself to feel those feelings because they're warranted. But it doesn't mean we have to always be angry at everything. I don't know how I'm going to react to the first topic that we have today, but I saw there was an interview, and I want to watch this interview. And I only know that it doesn't end well, but I don't know the in-between that leads into that. And so I am trying to separate my bias so I can appreciate this interview for what it is. So we're going to go into this. It looks like it's posted on NBC News, from what I understand. I saw somebody else post about it. I didn't want to watch their reaction to it. I figured that I should be talking about these directly more often anyway. So the source, as far as my understanding, is NBC News. So take that as you will. If you're more on the conservative side, if you're more on the conservative side, you might not take this source as legitimate, but I still think it's worth watching because we get to watch Donald Trump, right? And I think it's important to not always rely on secondhand information about what somebody is saying. A lot of people try to interpret what Donald Trump is saying, and that's all we really can do because he talks so inconsistently. It's the only thing that is consistent about him, is that he inconsistently talks the same way. Like, he doesn't always talk the same way, right? So what I want to do is pull this up for you guys, right? I don't really care about all the analytics here, but this is just Trump says I'd pay, and I want to find the whole thing. I think this is the whole interview, as far as I'm understanding it. I think this is the whole interview. So let me stop for a second and check the chat for you. I got a couple people saying hi, hello. You do not listen to any news, to be honest. Yeah, I don't really watch news. I don't go looking for the news like NBC or Fox News. A lot of times it's when there's relevant information, like a politician comes on or somebody is saying something. It's like, what is that politician saying? Because their word should always be reflecting what they're trying to do. Right. So I don't trust left or right leaning news, like the mainstream news. I'm sorry, like they're owned by corporations. I don't trust. It's not like I delegitimize their information, right? So here's the thing. What I do is I will watch it if relevant, but I don't just filter whether or not I agree based off of how much I trust them. I look at what they're saying. I look at if it's consistent with anything else. What a lot of other people do, and this is specifically like, it's not exclusive to MAGA, but it is important, and one of the traits of MAGA is that they will reject information and rationalize it by delegitimizing the source, right? So they'll say, oh, I don't trust that news because it came from news outlet A, right? And it's really easy for them to just never even accept that information. It's how they live, and that's part of why I think they live in this different reality of sorts, right? A metaphorical reality where they're building their own worldview based off their beliefs, and they're not accepting information that's actually real, right? That's not new behavior, especially for Christians or other religious people in the first place. They've been doing that for years, burning witches. Like, bro, they used to burn people or drown them because they thought they were magical. Like, and they justified it because of a book that happened to be religious. So anyways, I don't want to rant about religion. I want to get into this video. So I forget this lady's name. I'm going to paint my bias first because I think it's fair. I'm not saying this to paint your opinion. I just want you to know where I'm coming from so that you can make your own choices. So like, maybe if you're a little more liberal, and the fact that I say that I don't trust this interviewer, that might not be a good reaction for you. And I understand that. I don't remember their names. So I don't know them well enough to say one way or the other. I just remember having a couple of different interactions. And so what I remember is I think I respect this person because they're good at their job. I do think that that is the case. Again, painting my bias, but from what I've seen from this person, they might not. You know what? Let's set that aside. I'm ranting. I understand, Boshi. Sorry. I was responding to what you were saying originally. I understand why you don't watch the news, or I understand why you might not watch the news. One more aside, and then we will get to this damn video. Sorry, I'm having ideas. I want to share it with you guys because it's part of how I communicate and why I think it's important when I debate or when I have conversations with people I disagree with. Let's see if I can remember what the heck it was that I was going to say. Hold on one second. Checking the chat. Good luck, bro. Do you know about Pakistan? I have a lot of respect for Pakistan in terms of esports because they produce a lot of really strong players. Several of the best Tekken players come from Pakistan. So like, I don't know their politics that well. I'm going to be honest with you. So I can't really speak on their politics. But when I worked at a college or when I worked at a university, I had Pakistani students. No. I didn't have them on my team. I coached some Saudi Arabian players, but there were also some Pakistani players, I believe, on like different teams, like maybe Overwatch and things of that nature. But no, I only know from the fighting game community. So like Tekken 7 or Tekken 8, one of the best Pakistani players that I really enjoyed watching. Oh my God. I know his name. I'm mad. I can't think of his name right now. I really want to try to remember, but I don't want to go too far on this side. Anyway, no, I don't know much about Pakistan, but what would you like me to know, or what would you like to discuss potentially? Let me know. I might educate myself, or I might talk about where I'm at with it right now. I think honesty is really important. I don't remember the other point I was going to make to you, unfortunately, Boshi. So we're going to move on. Let me get the sound on for you guys, though. I'm only halfway through right now, but I drank a Celsius, and I tell you, before the start of the stream, I was not this energetic. I was pretty chill, right? So I can definitely feel the Celsius kicking in.
0.8 billion so.
About the esports, what about it? In the meantime, I'm going to watch some of this video and then I'll take a pause to respond to what you were saying. So anyway, meet the press. Kristen Welker. Kristen Welker is the name. NBC News. We're going to watch this.
This $1.8 billion so-called anti-weaponization fund, it was going to compensate people who say the federal government weaponized the legal system against them. It's been blocked by the courts, met with opposition from Republicans
and Democrats
in Congress and Democrats.
Excuse me, mostly Democrats.
Mostly
some
Democrats and some Republicans.
Some. Very few Republicans.
Just to be...
Hold on. Already?
With opposition from Republicans
and Democrats
in Congress and Democrats.
Excuse me, mostly.
All right, man, buckle in, y'all. This might take longer than I thought it was going to. We're already a minute in, and I got to talk about some stuff. Y'all. So what did you say here? No problem. I think you're watching the media is very responsible. I try to be responsible. I tell you, Boshi, I could talk at length about that. And I know that the tedium that I exhibit with how I watch my media, and it's not always right. And in my downtime as well, I do intake just like mindless YouTube sometimes. So I'm not going to act like I'm 100% always controlling what I intake. I digress. I do take it very serious. I do pay attention to how I'm feeling and what I'm thinking before I watch something about the news. Like, I can't tell you how many times where I will do like if you were looking at me doing this, it would be like a half of a second pause and then putting my phone down, right? Like, you would see me pick up my phone, probably think for a half of a second and then put it down. In my head, it's like one of those anime moments where there's several thought processes happening and I'm just like checking my feelings. Is this productive? Do I want to know about this right now? Is this interesting enough to want to watch later? Like, if it's not interesting enough to watch later and I don't feel like watching it now, just forget about it and put it out your mind. Don't think about it ever again so that you don't waste space doing it. And then if it is relevant, try to take a mental note of that. If it's worth it, if you forget about it, then it wasn't worth that much to you, or you can just hold that L, right? And so I will do that because it'll be my feelings. I'll check in with my feelings usually, and then I'll check in with my thoughts. Like, if I'm feeling very like scatterbrained, maybe I'm just too distracted. Like, it's not emotional. My emotions are fine, but then I got some work to do. How focused am I right now? Is my phone getting in the way of that? Like, I'll do those sort of things if I can remember to do so. What's up, Dunsford? How you doing? Have a good one, Boshi. Good to stop by as always. I love learning more about the way you think. Hopefully the fact that you're coming back means that we're both learning and communicating better. But let's get back into this video. I want to talk about something real fast. With opposition from legal system. So right here,
it's been blocked by the courts, met with opposition from Republicans
and Democrats.
So this Kristen is trying to make a point that even Republicans are rejecting it. Right now, part of the problem with this sort of stuff when it comes to different ideologies is that they're looking for social winning. Right. I'm going to use made up terminology here. So understand these are not, if I'm using them correctly, I didn't mean to. That's an accident. They're supposed to sound nonsensical in a way. But Kristen is trying to convey a point, not just to Trump, but to the people, that it's pretty obvious that Democrats don't like Trump. Like that's common sense. Nobody really needs to say that. It's like going in algebra and then the X, it's an understood one. Right? Like you already understand that going into this conversation. We all know that Trump should fucking know that. But the fact that Trump has to immediately
in Congress and Democrats.
Excuse me, mostly Democrats.
Well, yeah, it would be all Democrats, I'm sure, unless they're crazy or something, or they're not an actual Democrat. Like, what is it? Dino Democrat in name only? A dino? Yeah. Right. So what are we doing with that? Like, this is the part that I have where the people who are MAGA won't see an issue here because they care more about winning the argument than they care about honesty. You can watch it in their behavior. Like, you can track it. If you have someone who's MAGA or you're MAGA yourself and you're somehow able to tolerate watching me, thank you, first off. But also, you will inherently reject information. Like, you will choose to not take in information that goes against your worldview. And when you do that, you never actually learn. You only look for information that confirms your worldview. This is a very toxic way to exist, in my opinion, because it doesn't allow for actual productive growth. And it leads to kind of a crazy mentality where you're not acknowledging reality where you don't want to, right? A lot of people who live in the MAGA world, I think, need to come to terms with some realities that they are in fact supporting a bad guy. I don't think all people who are MAGA are bad guys, but I do think that they're willing to forego being good people in order to support someone that allows them to keep that delusion, right? I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but if you're still supporting Donald Trump and you're not actually a horrible person, right? Subjective, and I can break that down later if you really need me to help you figure that out. If you don't understand why I say that, I can break that down later. But if you understand, then you would come to the conclusion that you're a bad person if you're supporting Donald Trump. Like you would come to that conclusion. There's many ways to point that out. But what the pandemic is now, what the epidemic is now, is people rejecting reality. And it starts with this. This is very easy to miss, but I really want to emphasize this because he intentionally pivots away from the point of what she's saying in order to just make his fan base more angry by blaming Democrats for something that is obvious that they would do when it's their job to do so, right? It's their job to vote against this kind of stuff in representation of what the people want. They're voting based on what the people want, or what their people that they represent want, right? Why do we need to emphasize that? But look how this conversation goes. It doesn't go anywhere because he's not allowed to acknowledge. He's not allowed himself to acknowledge that Republicans are also, like, let us have a discussion about the Republicans. Like, yes, duh, if you're 1 year, my son understands, like, yeah, the Democrats don't like Donald Trump. Like, that's really childish stuff that we all know and don't need to put attention into. But now I have to spend 5 minutes talking about this concept because he won't allow himself to talk about it, which allows his people, it allows him to save face and not actually engage with the topic or the point of reality that your own people are starting to turn against you, basically, right? That's kind of how he would perceive it or how he would articulate it. I am just saying that even your own people are saying that they disagree with this specific thing. Like the fact that sometimes Republicans vote against their own kind shouldn't be controversial. Like, that's stupid. Like, why? Like, are they a hive mind? No, they're not supposed to be. No political party is supposed to be a hive mind. They're supposed to have disagreements within their own party to come to the best resolution possible. And they should always be expressing their disagreements all the time to make the best version of any policy or idea or law or bill or whatever that may be. So the fact that Donald Trump is trying to ignore that concept to save face publicly and just go to finger pointing the Democrats again for something that we all already know is a huge deal that we have to put attention into when we pay attention to his behavior. This is why I like watching things like CNN News, because yeah, she said words. She might have some sort of agenda behind those words, but his words are irrelevant from her agenda. What he chooses to say is irrelevant from whatever news station that he's on. It's his words. This isn't fake news. It's Trump's words. So I can dissect that and point that out, plus point out his patterns of behavior so that people better understand how much of a dirtbag and how much of a bad person Donald Trump is and why you shouldn't like him. Like, I will pick apart this guy's behavior until the day that I die because I'm so sick of people actually thinking this is a person that you should try to emulate. This is a horrible human being, and I am so tired of people acting like he's some sort of superhero. He doesn't have redeeming qualities. Should violence be done against him? No, I don't believe in that sort of thing. I don't think that's something that we should do to these sort of issues. That's how we got into these issues in the first place, is that a lot of white people get really violent and choose to make decisions for other people when not everybody wants to do that. And they just sort of rinse and repeat, whether it be on the national scale or the international scale. Like, they keep putting us in these bad situations that we have to make a big deal about. And then when we make a big deal about it, they act like we're traitors, right? We're just trying to say that you need to criticize your own behavior. Are we really going to honor somebody or respect somebody who can't criticize themselves? I'm sorry. Maybe this is controversial. I don't think it is, but I thought that things like integrity and accountability were really important qualities in what we consider to be a man, right? Like, at the risk of sounding sexist, I thought a man was supposed to have integrity and was supposed to be accountable for their own actions at all times. I thought responsibility was a manly quality. Donald Trump doesn't have any of those qualities. Show me where he has accountability. Show me when he's not throwing somebody else under the bus, whether it be the Democrats or his own people. I challenge you to sit here and try to explain to me. Like, these MAGA people are so brainwashed and so deluded that it's ridiculous. Like, these people at this point need to be in a crazy house because of how delusional they are to say that this is a good person. Like, if you like Donald Trump, then acknowledge that he's an asshole. Acknowledge that he's a bigot. Acknowledge that he's done horrible things far before he ever became a president. Like, acknowledge and own those things and say you want that kind of culture publicly. But stop trying to gaslight people into acting like that's not what you want when that's what you support. That's what you represent, or that's what you let represent you. I don't understand that. Right. And so it's hard to not get like this, not get annoyed or not get mad. Like, it's not a big deal that there's somebody that I might know that is supporting somebody crazy like this who gets away with many bad things that I'm not going to list off right now. Let me take a pause and let me read. I saw some clips from this great interview. In my opinion, this was a minimal pushback, and yeah, minimal pushback. Like, she didn't even push back. He's pushing back because she tried to make a point and he's trying to dodge that point. Some Democrats, mostly all, like, he elevated something that wasn't even brought up. Like, some Democrats as well, but all the Democrats, like, he has to turn up the heat on everything. Like, he has to introduce and then crank it to 11. Like, that's his pattern of behavior. Introduce the point, crank it to 11. Like, that's how he talks all the time. I made the most best that no one's ever seen done before. No one had ever even done it. People hadn't even walked on this part of the land before I did the thing. No one had this thought whatsoever. I had the bestest, biggest, best thought ever. It was a thought. It was the best of thoughts, in fact. You have never seen a thought as good as that. Like, that's how he talks, rinse and repeat all the time. It's so childish that he has to, like, have ADD. Like, I have ADHD. I know what it looks like when someone is thinking of something and then thinking of how to enhance that idea in real time. Like, that's how he talks. He probably has ADHD. Like, if I had to, I can't diagnose. That's not me. But I would love to see a test for him to have ADHD or something like that, if it isn't some sort of cognitive decline. But, like, he always talked like this. He uses his charisma. Like, he has max stats and charisma, so he always does charisma roles, and people are like, how the hell did he win people over with what he, like, people who are intellectual are like how did he, what, huh, what? Like, that's what's happening to people who are intellectual when they watch Donald Trump talk. They're like, how does anybody like this? What are we doing right here? What is going on? It's crazy talk. Anyway, yeah, the guy sounds so stupid if you understand words to a decent degree. And as condescending as that might sound, like, if you can't appreciate actual putting sequences of words together to form ideas in a respectable way, like, you're not gonna see it. And it is what it is. Like, I might be joking at it, but it is a serious thing where people are undereducated and are more gullible. That doesn't mean that everybody that's undereducated is going to see this. There are plenty of people who might not be intellectually smart, so to speak, but street smart or life experience smart. So those people are probably going to like him even less because they are knowledgeable or wise. They have life experience. Even if they don't have academic experience, they will probably clearly see what's happening because they're looking at the ground, like the effects day to day, right? They understand what's happening and they can see the cause and effect of what people are saying versus what they're doing. When law enforcement is arresting different colored people at not the same rates, there's a problem. When it seems like most races commit crimes at around the same rates for their race, but the arrest rates of blacks are higher and their exonerations are higher on average, there's a problem in the system. Whether it's intentional or not, it is a flaw in the system. It's like having a bug in the software, and it's like that bug is producing some sort of racist text or some sort of racist bias. Like, no, nobody put that there on purpose, but you can remove it now that you know. Yeah. Hello? But no, we're too busy talking about whether or not we, like, oh, well, it already happened, get over it. Yeah, but there's still issues happening now that could be fixed. Yeah, but it's not as bad as it used to be for your people. Okay, but there's a flaw in the system and you're not fixing it, or you're not talking about it or acknowledging it. Can we acknowledge it and fix it? Oh, oh, so I'm the problem because I'm the white guy. Like, this is how these people basically act when we try to address these issues. This is how they communicate about these issues when we try to talk about them, and they turn them into culture wars and then act like other people are the ones turning them into culture wars. And then they're the ones that are anti-culture war, right? It's like they make a big deal out of something, and then when people respond, they make a big deal out of other people making a big deal out of what they made a big deal about. It's really roundabout circular reasoning, the way that they behave. And it's like people just keep going on that hamster wheel over and over and over again. And I just don't get it. And I might be talking very metaphorically, and I'm sorry to not get back to this video, but it's just, I have been watching this happen for so long. And I feel like everybody talks around the actual issues because there's so much distraction thrown out when people talk that the actual issue is sometimes not brought to light. Sometimes, in my opinion, the actual issue is the conduct happening in real time, right? I don't believe in continuing a conversation when people are exhibiting lies, right? And we can confirm that they're lies. Like, I don't see a point in engaging in a conversation, whether I'm the interviewee or I'm the interviewer. If I'm assuming that you're lying or you're bad faith, we got to stop and talk about that until that's resolved, right? If I assume you're bad faith or you're assuming that I'm bad faith, we need to pause in real time and figure that shit out now. I don't want to waste more words anymore to people who are bad faith and whether they know it or not, right? And then I don't want to be accused of being bad faith when I'm going above and beyond to be very good faith. And I'm trying to front load my intentions into what I'm saying. And I'm going out of my way to try to make sure you understand me as best as I can, rather than trying to assume anything that you're saying. I make sure I articulate myself absent of your assumptions to the best of my ability. And I also respond with as few assumptions as much as possible. And I always ask for clarity where I have assumptions or don't understand something. So when I'm doing this extra effort and I know that I'm being honest and talking to people, I'm not going to sit here and allow somebody to lie and then move on. That's like that one guy. I'll bring him up, the Euro guy. Why I won't debate him, and I turned him down. I don't know if I talked about this on stream, right? But it's important to talk about the fact that this guy, the way he tried to bait me into debating him for a third time was to tell me I was chimping out. Like, what did this guy say? Hold on. I'm not going to put it up on stream because I don't know the policies of that specifically. So I'm not going to show the conversation on the stream, but I will read it. Let me see if I can find this. Also, make sure you guys do me a huge favor. Press the like button. This guy, for example, like, he has hundreds of people in this chat all riled up. I'd rather bring people over here and have an actual conversation and be productive, even if it is MAGA, even if it's Democrats. Like, I think it's worth debating or having a conversation with Democrats as well, to find better solutions and not let people get complacent. I don't want people to be complacent. Like, I'm the anti-complacent guy. Like, if there was a positive instigator, I would want to be that guy, where I'm not shutting down ideas that actually make true progress, but I'm always instigating people to do better. Right? That's who I want to be known to be. Is like, that guy never let us be complacent with ourselves. Right? I think complacency in terms of many topics, honestly, but just who we are as a people, we should always be striving to do better. Otherwise, we will become blind to our downfalls because we're not perfect creatures, whether you're religious or not. Right? I think this is one of the aspects I like about Christianity, is that you're reminded that you're imperfect so that you strive for perfection. Like, I'm not explaining the A to the B, but if you were to go through the Bible, a lot of it is reminding you you're not perfect, but you should be striving towards that. So it is like this mindset of always striving to be better, right? As an atheist, as an agnostic atheist, that is a quality that I like about a lot of religious texts, is they have that sort of mindset of like, I don't think they're trying to, like, okay, maybe some of the authors were trying to, like, unintentionally or intentionally humble you by saying you're not perfect and, like, reminding you that way. But I don't personally see it that way, or I don't think it should be perceived that way. I think it should be more of a, like just a mindset or a reminder to do better, right? So I digress. Let me go back to this chat. Oh yeah. He said, no, I'm not. Don't be mad. It's all, oh yeah. Oh yeah. So this guy tried to bait, no. So how he tried to bait me into debating him was by sending me statistics on black murder, right? And then I just responded by sending him a bunch of statistics on, okay, so I sent him statistics on like total arrests. So total arrests, white people had the most by a huge amount of like total arrests. Like it was like 1.8 million black people versus 4.7 million white people. Then the R word, they're like almost 3 times more than black people for the R word arrests, right? Black people, it's only 4,000. They're close to 12,000 for that. They're 11,500 for the R word. They're also higher in aggravated assault and burglary, larceny, theft, motor vehicle theft, arson. So like he only sent me just violent like homicides, I think, right? I'm not saying any of these are, I don't want to compare them in terms of severity. I am just saying that in terms of categories, one of them being a lot worse for me, like the R word is very bad for me. Like I can't respect anybody ever again that does the R word, right? Like you can't be my friend if you've done the R word like that before. Like that's just me, right? So anyway, I think he gets mad. I just send the Keegan Aaron guy going meme back to him because I'm like, okay, you send me a statistic, I'll send you some statistics as well. And then he says, if you remove Hispanics out of the white category, blacks commit more R words, try again. Although he didn't mention the several other topics that I mentioned, so he must also put the R word pretty high on his list. But the fact that that's his response, like, okay. And I'm like, okay, whatever you say. I still don't get your point, by the way. Also, I circled more than just the R word. And then he says black people account for 62% of S word. ST. Yeah, ST. S traffic. I asked him to provide a source, and I'm like, it's incredibly telling that rather than trying to have an actual dialogue, you're just throwing statistics out of context about black people. It's honestly very sad, and I'm getting bored. He says, no, I'm not. Don't get mad. It's all 100% true, so stop chimping out. You're scared to debate because your got destroyed in 10 seconds last time, been ducking ever since, and sneak this in 24/7, right? Yeah. I think I read that before. And like, it's just, we live in 2 different realities, it seems like. So I don't know. I want to go on to this video though. It's just really weird behavior from these people. Well, why is it there?
Mostly
Some
Democrats and some Republicans.
Very few.
Some Republicans.
Just to be very clear, are you backing off the fund completely, as your acting Attorney General Todd Blanche has said, or are you looking for another avenue to revive
So
the
let
fund?
me explain what the fund is. People have been hurt so badly by radical left lunatics that worked for the Biden administration and Sleepy Joe. They're vicious, they're violent, what they did to people. And of course, they went after me more than anybody else.
So I just want to point out, this guy is still harping on issues that happened in the past, while there are a lot of things happening, like high gas prices and stuff happening right now. So like, take off your bias filter here and understand that this guy doesn't want to pay attention to things that are happening right now, like his own Republicans wisely choosing to go against the slush fund to pay off people from the January 6 riots, because riots and protests, because protesters couldn't obey the law. He wants to bail them out. So when their people throw an emotional tantrum, they get bailouts. But when we throw emotional tantrums, they want punishment, right? They're crying and begging for punishment for those people. And I would say I'm not even a part of technically either group of those people, right? Like, I was not at any of those riots or those protests or anything of that nature. So I can't really say I'm a participant in either side. I'm just an observer seeing that one side does not have the same expectations of the other side, right? And it's the side that's in power that's being very inconsistent here.
They raided Mar-a-Lago and all the other things. But people have been badly hurt. They've committed suicide. They've lost their jobs. They've lost their families. They've lost their wives. They've lost everything. They've lost everything over a fake weaponization of government. Now,
that's a really good point too. Lowest crime group is first generation immigrants. I've heard this before. I don't have a source for that right now, but I've seen and heard this argument brought up many times about immigrants. And it's annoying watching white non-immigrant people or even black non-immigrant people talk about this topic, because like I think there's a lot of black people who are like born here that have a similar issue to a lot of the white people that are born here, where I'm first generation only on my dad's side. So I'm like half and half first generation. I'm like 50% first generation and then foundational black American as well. And so, and indigenous, like, I got a lot of stuff. I got more, but, the other half of the 50% of me is all immigrant though. So that all the other half of that is all immigrant. Watching these people talk about immigrants and crime in trying their best to justify their heavy-handed implementation of like their border patrol and ICE and immigration custom, like all of that stuff. People who are immigrants and kids who are raised by immigrants are some of the most paranoid people in terms of getting in trouble that I have met. Like, I don't think there's any group that's 100% crimeless or normalizes certain kind of crime, right? Speeding is a crime that is like normalized by pretty much anyone who is owns a vehicle. So whatever economic class that falls into. But yeah, how do I articulate what I'm trying to say? I don't know. I want to get back to the video, so I'm trying to circle things back and not deviate too far, because I got to edit this crap. So I don't like to deviate too far unless someone's bringing up a good point. Oh, first generation, it is a good point. First generation immigrants. Yeah, the argument that he's making, not him. A lot of them. Hold on. I'm excited. I got to calm it down. A lot of these conservatives, when they're on the news, they really like to paint immigrants in the light of breaking the law, like they're all criminals coming in. But a lot of these people are just hard workers that are tired of certain issues or are getting away from more like areas that are crime ridden or a better life or safety for their kids. They're not trying to rock the boat. So when they paint this picture that all the people that are coming across the border from whatever country, and usually a lot of them are not white, they're painting this picture that is oh so familiar to my people, to the black side of my people, and also to the immigrant side of my people, where they try to paint this picture of the other. It's not new. Like, it's not new at all, but they keep doing it in new and creative ways. Impressive though it may be, it is incredibly, incredibly bigoted and dangerous. In the behavior of these people, I don't know, like the way they talk about immigrants is just so dangerous.
Are you looking for a way to revive it?
Well, look, if it was up to me, I'd pay them the kind of money that they deserve. People have been destroyed. Lives have been destroyed.
Empty promises, because we know that he doesn't keep his promises.
Many suicides. Think of it. People have committed suicide because a bunch of thugs went after them. So me personally,
is he talking about the person that was SA'd by him? So I don't think he is. I don't know if he's like he almost seems like the kind of person, like the kind of psychopath that would openly reference something that he did while also trying to project that on trying to make that projection the actual center of attention. I don't know if he is that crazy to do that. I honestly think he is very malicious, and I think he is very capable of being that insane where he's like, he knows that there is somebody that was essayed by him, like, and I believe it was like, I don't know, remember like the legal court settlings. I don't want to deviate too far and get stuck in that right now, but we all know that that's common knowledge. And she recently, in the last few years, unfortunately ended everything. So it feels very, very like, this is my opinion, but I want to point it out there. I want to put it out there for you guys to consider, is that it seems crazy that what he just said isn't referring to him, but I feel like he would get some sort of sick pleasure out of being that kind of guy. Does that make sense? Like, do y'all get what I'm saying here?
Lives have been destroyed. Many suicides. Think of it. People have committed suicide because a bunch of thugs went after them.
You don't.
So, me personally, I think the weaponization fund is a great idea, and so do many other Republicans. You have to get it approved.
Also, he's changed topics, by the way.
If they get it approved, that's great. If they don't get it approved, I'd be disappointed.
All right, we're going to motor through this.
Why is it so loud in here?
Listen, people have been destroyed by crooked politicians, and they should be reimbursed for that.
Do you think anyone who attacked police officers on January 6th should get taxpayer money?
I wouldn't be inclined to say so, but I have to see it. I can tell you this, 97% of those people, you look at them, the FBI or whoever it was, because you had a lot of crooked cops, you had dirty cops. Comey was a dirty cop.
Well,
a guy like Bolton was a dirty
but
cop.
There's no evidence.
Wait a minute. Oh, you think Comey was a straight
people
cop?
who pleaded guilty to assaulting police
Comey
officers.
was a dirty cop.
No, but
they
the
had
people who
FBI.
assaulted police
Listen to me.
officers.
They had FBI agents ushering them into the building. They had FBI go into the building. Those people walking around, they're looking, oh, isn't this nice? They weren't in. They were
There's
being
no
ushered
evidence
into
of
the
that,
building.
sir. There's no evidence.
You had a bunch of dirty cops, and frankly, what they.
I don't know if you followed along or not, but he is saying that the January 6th were baited into going and touring the Capitol building during the J6 riots. So they were, because there is footage of them walking and looking around, he's trying to make an argument that the cops ushered them in, almost as if they're being baited into coming in here and as if they're being framed for committing a crime they didn't actually commit because they were welcomed in. That's what he's trying to say, and there's no evidence of that, is what she's saying, right? He's just making that claim, and there isn't any actual video evidence that I've seen of them ushering them in. He's just making that claim. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. He's just making that claim. MAGA guys, come on, y'all gotta see this for what it is, right?
Weaponization of our government.
But sir, there's no evidence of that. More than 1,000 people.
No, there's none. You know what you do? Try looking at the tapes one time.
Would you take it off the table?
Look at the tapes one time.
But 172
one time
people did plead guilty to assaulting police officers.
You know why they pled
Should
guilty?
They be exempt
because they told they were going to jail
funds?
for 15 years if they didn't.
because they broke a crime. They broke a crime. They broke a crime. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? They broke a crime. They broke into the Capitol building. Breaking into the place that is supposed to be representing our freedom in the justice system and the passing on of the torch of our presidential leader. Don't you think that people should have a severe punishment for breaking in and like assaulting officers and breaking property? Don't you think punishment should be enforced in that situation to make a message to not do that again? Right? I feel like the J6 people are just incentivized to do the same thing again when they don't get their way. But maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I'm just crazy. Like, what are we talking about? Like, this is an actual big deal. This is a big deal the way that he's talking. He's encouraging January 6ers to do it again and trying to get him off of punishment for what's happening. But then he's not willing to extend that same liberty to other groups that don't meet his ideology. What do we call that? The right hates when we use extreme terms like fascism or like he's the next coming of Hitler, but it's not constitutional. it seems very dictatorial, but they're trying to act like we're making a mountain out of a molehill every time we use this kind of terms, man. I don't know. It's so insane to me. It's so insane to me that these people are being serious right now. Like, this can't be serious. I seen them climbing the walls, busting the doors and windows to get in forcibly. Into the Capitol building? Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought you were like playing a Southern person or something, like climbing. Never mind. What's up, Darneezy? What's good, man? Look, this is a 6-minute interview, but like, it's so hard to not pause and break down every little thing. And I've recently learned something, right? Let me chat with y'all for a second. This is kind of a fun fact, but I love talking about this aspect, and I'm really trying to explore this and figure it out for myself. But yeah, let me just quickly chat with y'all. So I'll read the chat in a second. I can't see it from here. I recently, within the last year, learned more about ADHD from reading a book to having a therapist talk to psychologists about ADHD. And I want to do some projects with ADHD in the workplace in the future. Yeah. I want to do something with that. But that aside, one of the cool traits is that people who have ADHD, the uncool part is that we struggle to see common patterns that are like common sense patterns, so to speak, but we excel at seeing patterns that are not normal, right? So that's what makes us typically good problem solvers, is that we see different patterns, but we're also interested in things very strongly. And so when we don't see normal patterns, we might be interested in something that makes no sense to other people. One of those things for me is people. I think because I was socially awkward, I had a crazy upbringing. Like, my upbringing made me want to be a peacemaker of sorts. Like, I am somebody who loves the art of battle, loves martial arts, loves being able to control their own body. I'm not in shape right now. I'm working on that. But I also love the mental aspect of it, the mental discipline of being able to control what you say and coming to the best conclusions in any given moment. And a part of that is learning different philosophies like Stoicism or learning something a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Not like nihilism, right? Understanding them, learning like theology, religion, all these things. And I think it helps me to see, really, it feels like common sense to me, but when I talk about it with other people, they're like, I never thought about it that way, right? That's basically what it boils down to. So I'm trying to practice pointing those things out, and that interaction with you guys is what becomes important, right? That's why I'm talking to you right now, is because I need you guys to call me out when things don't make sense, or when you strongly agree with something that you hadn't thought about before, or when you strongly disagree with something that you hadn't thought about before or have thought about before, right? Like, that conversation helps me, because then when you give me that pushback, when you give me that feedback, then I can articulate, like, maybe I didn't use my words well enough to explain my idea to you, the people, and people think differently. So maybe not everyone's going to get what I'm saying, especially when you don't know me that well. So that interaction with you guys is what's going to help that. And I wanted to share that thought with y'all before we go back into this video. And I talk about things.
They pled guilty because they were frightened. They went down. They were ushered into a building. Many of them were arrested without even going into the building.
You'd be okay with them receiving taxpayer dollars?
The people were destroyed.
Not answering the question.
By dirty cops and by weaponization. Many of those people should be compensated. Now, with that being said, as I understand it,
he's making it more general so he can take more liberties.
The weaponization fund was going to set up a group of people. People that could be picked by anybody, fair people, smart people, and they will go on an individual case basis.
Okay.
Now, I don't know what's going to happen with the weaponization fund. I love the idea because people like you, the fake, dirty press, crooked press, people like stupid Biden, he's not smart enough to know what's going on. But people
Oh my God, dude. He couldn't even think of Sleepy Biden. Like, this guy, look, I hate this guy with a burning passion, but I can't deny he's funny. I don't think he means to be funny when he's funny, but I don't know. I have a comedian's brain, dude. Like, I love laughing at this kind of stuff, and it's not funny. Like, I can only laugh to heal the pain that this person creates, right? And I think I have to appreciate the funny with the bad. So anyway, let me rewind a little bit because I lost track of what he was saying when I started laughing.
People like you, the fake.
Oh, before I do, actually, what were you saying? You've been here a while ago. What's up, man? How you doing? And then you said what's similar? That's similar to you. Oh, how I think about things, or the ADHD part? What did you mean?
I love the idea because people like you, the fake, dirty press, the crooked press.
Dirty.
People
Ooh.
like.
Hey, yo, what did he say? The fake dirty press? He said the fake dirty press. Okay. I don't know why this guy, man. You have to find the humor. I feel like when you break this guy down, you can't be so serious that you lose your mind. Because a lot of people, I'm using the word intellectual in a very, very loose term. I just mean anyone who likes to think and criticize, their own worldview. But hold on. My wife is calling to make sure everything is okay. I'll be right back. I love my wife. She's getting Sonic right now, and she called me to get me some Sonic. We don't get to that place too often, but I like their burgers. I used to work there. It's like one of those few fast food joints where like I'm okay with eating their food regularly. Not regularly, but like I'm trying to get away from fast food. Anyway, I love my wife. That's what I'm saying. That's the moral of the story. Let's carry on here. Darneezy, what's good, man? You on your phone or you on your computer?
Stupid Biden. He's not smart enough to know what's going on. But people that surrounded his beautiful, resolute desk in the Oval Office, what they did to the lives of people, they destroyed people. They sent people to jail who did nothing wrong.
All right, just to be very clear.
Right now, Trump is he's not engaging, right? This is the same thing with debating people like who are MAGA, is they'll do the same thing. You'll see this a lot, where instead of engaging with the conversation, he is just trying to find a way to push his agenda over and over and over again. And that's just to optics. He's only focusing on optics. He's not engaging with the interviewer at all. He's acting like the interviewer represents this idea rather than meeting this person where they are. He's just labeling them as a dirty news anchor or whatever, journalist, and is brushing them off, right? Counting them out, whatever that may be. It doesn't allow for any productive conversation.
There's no evidence of what you're saying, but let me ask you about Todd Blanche.
Listen to me.
Let's talk.
I think that she should bait him into talking about the evidence, right? Like he's going to dig his own grave because the news reporters are so predictable because they just want to go on to the next question. They are so focused on getting to the next question. I'm generalizing, but I see this a lot. And it annoys the hell out of me because you can basically expose somebody if you just allow them to bury themselves, right? It's kind of ironic because that is literally, it's oxymoronical. It doesn't make sense to be able to expose somebody by burying them, by allowing them to bury themselves. But I do believe that, like, but the dangerous thing too, though, is with Trump is if you don't control the conversation at all, then he is free to just say whatever, and he will, to the fullest extent, just keep on making up stuff. He'll just keep talking if you don't control that. So it's not as easy as redirecting him. You have to kind of redirect and funnel his talking and like in a way that follows his own logic. Like, okay, what is that evidence? How did you come across, like, who found this evidence and where can we find that evidence? Like, show us where we can find that evidence. Can you pull it up on your phone? Like, but these people are so formulaic. They're not willing to break the format in order to expose him for his own dumb behavior. This is why I don't like these stations, is they're not willing to have integrity. They're too busy trying to keep their format for ratings and views. This is just the in general reason why I never trust these people, because she cares more about clicks. So rather than trying to, like, he's going to lose his anger and leave. And so I also understand that, like, oh, she might get up and leave, or he might get up and leave if he gets too mad. But like, I don't know. Like, I understand it's the president, but I integrity. I wish, as a whole, in general, I just wish our country cared more about integrity than we do ratings, because our president definitely cares more about ratings than integrity.
There's tremendous evidence. There's nothing but evidence. The election was rigged. It was a dirty election. And it's happening again right now in California.
I do respect her pushing back. So regardless of what I said about the news station, right now that doesn't apply to Kristen. I think she's doing a fine job. I just personally don't like moving on to another question, but she is doing her job well. I just want to clarify that.
Presented evidence.
It's happening right now in California. Right now, look at what's happening in California.
To that?
It's
the
4 days.
Republicans are doing well in
California. No, they're not. They're dropping fast because it's a rigged election. Let me tell you, it's 4 days. And they aren't even close to coming up with it. You know why they're doing that? Because they're cheating on the election.
Do you have evidence to support that?
All I have to do is look. All I have to do is look.
That's not evidence.
And I listen. And I listen to people. And let's see what happens.
He's so good at this. I'm more and more I'm liking the interviewer. I'm not mad at it at all. I like what she's doing right now. I know it feels very stressful, perhaps, or tense, but she's not relenting, and we need this. we need more of this. I don't even want to humor people who are pro-Trump right now. Like, I don't want to humor y'all. If y'all can't take criticism, you're babies. Like, MAGA are some of the most beta male, crybaby, weak people I have ever come across. Like, y'all are so quick to play victim. You're like those chihuahuas. Like, you're like those chihuahuas that MAGA is like those chihuahuas that bark at you. I used to deliver pizza, right? I used to deliver pizza for 4 years. And at many houses, there would be like chihuahuas tied up in the garage or something like that. And when I envision chihuahuas, and this is why to this day I still don't like chihuahuas, is those yappy dogs. As soon as you pull up, they're barking at you, barking like they're about to do something, right? I come from an area where, like, I fought in school. I have fights in school. I never started them. There were a lot of bullies. There were a lot of people. There were a lot of physical altercations when I grew up at my schools. When someone is trying to fight me, my fight or flight reflex is sometimes to fight. It isn't always, but as I got older, it definitely, when I was delivering pizza, it was more so fight than flight, because a lot of times you might not get away. So you got to fight. And so when a dog is yapping at me, I walk by and it's like they're yapping at me. I ignore it, deliver the pizza. My priority is the customer. I'm leaving. Again, this is me like 19 years old, right? Dog still yapping at me after a long day. You see a dog and you just give him one of those, right? What does the dog do? They start running away, falling at their side, yapping and right? Like, they start doing that. That's what MAGA is in my head. It's like they're just barking and barking and barking and barking. And then once you start trying to talk about what they're like, let me just show you, let me get a mirror and show you what you're doing. And they turn into that scaredy cat dog, right? That's what MAGA seems like to me, is they want to turn tail and hide and play victim. As soon as you have anything that proves that they're horrible people, they find some way to be the victim. And I can't stand these dudes, man. They're so horrible. And what they represent is even worse, right? It's not things that justify, like, our criticism is justified of them, but they act like such babies. It's crazy. Well, there is another element to it. Anchors that have bosses, and I touched on that, I think maybe before you had heard that, what they can ask people. Oh, well, I vaguely alluded to it, but in my head I agree. I was thinking the same thing. It's like, and that's why I was saying, like, what she's doing is great. I separate her from that because there's a chain of command right? It's not as simple as big corporation telling people what to do. There's conversations and there are some decisions made at the creative level. So that's, I'm making general statements and want to clarify that. Oh.
Sir, that's not evidence.
Do you think it's appropriate?
That's how they
no evidence for this.
Do you think it's appropriate that they have an election and 5 days later they're nowhere close to picking a winner?
State and local officials acknowledge they are slow. They're urging.
No, they're crooked.
They're urging the votes to be counted quickly. That's how they vote in California.
They're crooked, just like you're crooked. Your press is crooked, and meet the press.
You see how he doesn't have any evidence, so now he's just resorting to insulting. But the dumb MAGA people are fine with that because they care more about expressing themselves. They care more about expression than they care about honesty. They'd rather express their feelings than actually be honest human beings. And that's what so this is why what he's doing right now, I guarantee you, is the script. I haven't checked, right? I haven't checked. This is my first time seeing this interview. I guarantee you, MAGA has flipped the script, and maybe some of you guys can check in chat if you're morbidly curious or already know that he tells off the reporter and, you know, and is a beacon of free speech and walks off when they try to trick him into some nonsense, right? Like she was super corrupt and saying terrible things when in reality, if you just watch this interview, she's clearly not, right? She's clearly not saying that. And I'm completely making that up in my head, but I bet you if you go to Fox News or what is it, OAN, OnlyFans, or whatever it is, that all those nonsenses over there, the Charlie Kirk's people, and you go there, I bet you they're saying that like he did a good job and like their report, like they tried to trick them in, they're corrupt and all that, like villainizing these people, honoring Trump. That's what they're doing. I bet you.
To be fair, I'm not
Show me I'm wrong.
Really? Well, you play right into their hands.
Let's continue.
You're either crooked or you're stupid. You play right into their hands with this rap. You know that these elections are rigged. Your network knows that they're rigged.
You're either crooked or you're stupid. That's pretty significant in terms of winning over optics, right? His people are going to love that. They're going to eat it up.
You know that I won an election in a landslide, and I got 94% bad press.
But Mr. President,
you know why I got that? Because you have no credibility.
When she talks about presenting evidence, MAGA people have already blocked it out, right? This is my prediction, right? I'm going to start becoming MAGA Nostradamus. Nostradamus, MAGA Stradamus, yeah, MAGA Stradamus, right? I'm gonna start predicting what MAGA people do. Yeah, I don't know why I'm doing the Macho Man thing. Yeah, brother. Yeah, I'm gonna be the MAGA whisperer, brother. Yeah. I'm gonna grind to the cream of the crop, yeah, brother. When I have a sore throat and I lose my voice, I sound like Macho Man. And so during commentary sometimes, like I'll be like a small window, like a day where I can commentate like Macho Man and like Hulk Hogan and shit. You gotta become the dog whisperer, yeah. I watch way too many Macho Man promos. You know what? Let's do a palate cleanser here. Let's take a quick comedic intermission. Right, let's take a little intermission here and enjoy some life. See, I'm telling you, I watch way too many of these. Oh my god, this one looks higher quality. All right, let's move this up. Oh, this is only 2 minutes. All right, that's fine. All right, here we go.
The Silver Dome and Pontiac.
Have some fun with me, y'all. Let's just have a palate cleanser here and have a good time.
Michigan. It's a day that I'm certain my guest.
Wait, where's he at? Michigan? Oh, no way.
WrestleMania 3 at the Silver Dome in Pontiac, Michigan. It's a day that I'm certain my guest at this time will not forget. I'm talking about the former Intercontinental Champion of the world, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Nothing means nothing.
Nothing
means nothing.
Nothing means nothing. What do you mean by that?
I'm talking about all the way to the top, yeah. Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in. But the cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah. Madness, yeah, has got more to offer. President Jack Tunney thinks that I got, yeah.
He keeps pulling out more. Wait.
Right now, cards stacked against the Macho Man Randy Savage in WrestleMania 3. Yeah, let me say it, yeah. Let me say it out loud. And let me point to the president of the World Wrestling Federation, the Macho Man Randy
Macho
Savage is
Man,
not
yeah.
happy with your decision, yeah. I am the cream in the World Wrestling Federation.
Wait a minute, Brent.
There is no doubt about it, yeah. You mean Gene Okerlund. You know
Put it in his
that I'm the
pocket.
cream of the crop.
Oh, wait a minute, though, Randy. I've got to ask you very seriously. Do you blame Mr. Jack Tunney, the distinguished president of the World Wrestling Federation, for Ricky Steamboat being the Intercontinental Champion today?
Yeah, I do, yeah. Outside interference, yeah. In my moment of glory. Yeah, now I'm living in a nightmare. And I am the cream. And now, not only the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship belt must fall, but the World Heavyweight Championship belt. Because Hulk Hogan, yeah, I am the cream, yeah. The cream of the crop. And there is no one that does it better than the Macho Man Randy Savage. On balance, off balance, doesn't matter. I'm better
It's
than
so great.
you are, yeah. And I'm talking to everyone in the World Wrestling Federation. And I'm even talking to President Jack Tunney, yeah. I'm on my way. And nothing is gonna stop me. Nothing's gonna stop me.
You know, just out of curiosity, Randy, and I certainly don't want to diminish your tremendous God-given talents, but I'm very curious. I haven't seen Elizabeth lately.
Yeah, she's on the outside of the ring. Does she interfere in matches? Yeah. Nothing, zero, yeah. Pure athlete, yeah. And I've been, maligned from the top to the bottom. And because they can't handle the Macho Man Randy Savage, the cream of the crop, nobody does it better.
Nonsensical. I love Macho Man so much, dude. I've appreciated him more in my adulthood. This guy does some hilarious impersonations. Like I don't know jack shit about that guy outside of Hulk Hogan. I think he actually no. Somebody that looks like him debated somebody. So maybe that's somebody else. Oh man. Is he trying not to laugh? I gotta find a few more of these. This guy, I want to watch this guy. Oh no, I've seen that one. That one's good. That's like early Macho Man.
Not only are you a hot dog, a grandstander, a showboat, and a prima donna, but you're a liar too. But guess who shows up
1962.
for no reason at all to get his grandstanding and hot dogging in? I hate you. I
so
hate
sweaty.
your guts. I was doing
I'm
real
red. What the
good,
heck?
Yeah, I was styling out there like a champion. Yeah. Not only are
Oh yeah. All right. Back to work. Thank you for taking that little brief palate cleanser with me. I needed that.
But you've never presented evidence that it was rigged. Let's keep talking about. I want to talk about Todd.
You have
Yes, yeah, exactly. Dog whisper for MAGA. That's what I want to be. The MAGA. I thought about this because there's that KKK guy. Do you know about the KKK guy that he's a black dude that just by talking to people help them leave the KKK? I want to be that guy from MAGA.
more evidence. There's more evidence than ever presented.
Let's talk
Your
about
elections
you
in
went
this
to
country
court.
were
He's not giving any evidence. He's just saying there's more evidence, right? You see?
like a third world country.
But, sir-
Your elections are crooked, and you're crooked, and
But,
Meet
Mr.
the Press is crooked,
Mr.
and so is.
And you're ugly, and you're ugly, and you're ugly, and you're ugly, and you're ugly. And you're ugly, and you're ugly. Like, oh my God, bro. Like, come on, man.
ABC and CBS and CNN.
But, Mr. President-
Your one-sided crooked networks. Right, let's call it quits because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good time.
Oh, he quit.
I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
I've sat
I
in the
traveled
rain with
all.
you.
I know. I
I've sat in
traveled
the rain
all the
with
way
you
to
for an hour,
Wisconsin.
on and off in the rain, and I've given you enough time. You ought to straighten out your press because you know what?
Mr.
A
President,
country can never be
We
great
traveled
with a
all-
dishonest.
listen,
This guy
we
is such a
traveled all
dirtbag.
the way to Wisconsin for this interview.
What is it light? Maybe he's dodging lights. I think he's dodging lights.
I spoke with President Trump on Saturday, and we both acknowledged the complications during the interview posed
Okay, no.
by the rain. He agreed to sit down with me for another Meet the Press interview.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.
Yeah. You know.
With my son.
Whoa. Chill out. All right, y'all. So I just think that that's pretty silly, you know, that this guy is our leader, our president. I don't see how people can respect this person and be honest human beings or have integrity, right? And it's like there's this delusion that a lot of people who are MAGA have and don't want to admit that, yeah, you guys are the bad guy. You guys are the one that are foregoing your integrity or your morals, right? And it's really easy to corrupt people or lie to them when you have certain things like religious text or misinformation, right? When you have culture and manipulating that culture through their like knowledge or their experiences. You know, I want to feel bad for MAGA, but there's too much accountability to be had to feel bad for them, right? I do have empathy for the people that are being manipulated and lied to, but at the same time, it's the same concept as being affluent or affluenza and using that as an argument to win against an R-word accusation or trial, things of that nature. And saying that you don't know any better because you're too rich or too privileged. That's what this feels like. It feels like they're being forgiven. Like these people that get away with stuff, and it's not even just rich people now because of how he's trying to do the J6 thing, right? Like he's winning over the lower income and middle class people too by publicly trying to give money and help to the J6ers. He's winning over a people and using that people as a beacon of what he represents in a sense. You know, he's trying to craft that image, and people who are still Trump supporters or might potentially be recruited to Trump are seeing those things, and they're perceiving it a different way than us. They're seeing it in a different way than how we're seeing it. That has to be part of the conversation that we all know. It is common knowledge that we all accept that MAGA would not see that same interview the way that we're seeing it, you know, and how are they perceiving it is going to be very polar opposite of what we just saw, right? They're going to be rejecting anything that this anchor says. So any evidence that she's claiming, especially since in their eyes, she didn't give even a source, but in reality, Trump never really even was interested in entertaining the idea at all for her to have given a source. Like he didn't show any curiosity and just claimed the opposite of that, regardless of, you know, he claimed he had evidence and didn't provide any, right? So they're going to be right where they are. And they're going to use this sort of interview as ammo to justify more stuff, right? And to further create a divide or a wedge between the left and the right. And people like me don't exist to them because I'm critical of whoever. I don't benefit either political party if they're only interested in their own political party, right? If people who are interested in actual progress nationwide and worldwide, they're going to agree, probably, in my opinion. I think they're going to agree with like the points that I'm trying to make, that I'm trying to convey, and I'm trying to criticize, right? And of course, there are Democrats that are going to agree with what I'm saying and utilize that. So if you're a Democrat, you don't have to agree with everything I say. We work together, right? I think that the people, not the politicians, but the people, and some politicians, not all politicians in the Democratic Party are bad by any means, right? And I definitely think at the ground level, more specifically, there are just people who are trying to do the best that they can, and people just know Democrats and Republicans. So it's like I'm willing to say as much as I am about the Democratic Party, but I also don't think it's worth dismissing individual politicians for the work that they're putting in just because they're Democrats, right? That's a disconnect, is that there are people who want to just dismiss all the work that these politicians are putting in when they actually are putting in work, right? I don't understand it yet, right? That's something that I'm trying to learn more about every day, and these live streams have helped significantly with many aspects of how politics works. Hopefully it has for you guys as well. You've thought about it through different lenses. And I'm trying to mature and think about things from my own lens and figure out how do I fit into all of this and continue to encourage political expression, but also political freedom of sorts, right? I want us to get away from utilizing political parties so that they don't have as much leverage. I don't have any issue with groups of people representing an idea. I think that's fine. I just want to limit how much power those groups have as a whole and how much they influence other ideals that are also multifaceted and have many people representing them. I want to be able to limit how much control they have over other people getting any sort of influence. Like if there's other good ideas out there, I want them to shine. That's what I want. I want the best ideas to shine through. And I want a process that we as a community, as a country, can select those best ideas, whether it be attached to a person or not, right? I think that we need to grow and evolve as a country and as a world. Whether we like it or not, America is a beacon. It is a marker of how other people conduct themselves. We have a lot of influence in the world. We really, really do. And that I think that we should use that responsibly. You know, our culture, our pop culture, our policies, our currency, our language, right? Like we learned our language from the Europeans, so it's not our language. But I'm saying that a lot of what America does is mirrored in other countries, whether we like it or not. And we represent something. I don't want it to all be hostile. I don't want it to all be angry, but I do think that we need to talk honestly, openly, and objectively about what we see happening. And one of those things is our president. He's a problem. And we need to use the system in order to get him out of office and people like him out of office. It needs to be using the system that we have in place and then also having a big conversation about that system and how do we make it work better and how do we change it, right? We don't have to tear down a system in order to build up a new one. We can build on top of things, but we need some strong foundation. So there might be some blocks that need to be removed in order for us to have the best possible foundation. And so that is where I want to leave that topic for now. I think that we've hit a good point here. And let me see. 1 + 1 = 2, but they will see 1 + 1 = MAGA. Yeah, MAGA sees whatever they want. Drew Stevens, what do you want? What do you want, Drew Stevens? You tell me. I'm talking in generals because we were talking about a specific topic, but I want you to tell me what's on your mind there, buddy. Drew Stevens, 211, the crew one run, the crew one run. Let me bring this chat over here real fast. I'm going to be very honest with you, Drew Stevens, if you're still in the chat. I'm very open and honest. I'm very blunt about things. I like open discourse, but I want to know what your problem is. What is your malfunction? Conjunction junction. What's your malfunction? And more than likely, he probably already left. So I'm going to assume as such, and I'll check the chat to see if he responds. In the meantime, I will be cutting over to Reanimal in about an hour. I'll be switching over to the YouTube gaming side. So on the YouTube side, I'll be switching over. If you're on the Twitch side, we'll be right back for sure. But I'm just checking to see if there's anybody else in chat that wants to talk before we move on from here. Darneezy, as always. If you're hanging around, I'll be gaming. You're on the Twitch side, so you don't got to worry. I'm just gonna go get some food, take a short break, say goodnight to the family, boot up the game and everything, and check in with my friend, make sure, because we're doing co-op. It's gonna be me and my buddy Tech. We're gonna be playing some games. So I'm excited. It'll be another good palate cleanser from this Trump situation. I wish Drew Stevens was still here. I would have liked to have had a short conversation with him. Once the gaming starts, the gaming's going to start. So I won't pause for politics unless it's something really, really juicy or good that me and Tech can both talk about. Because Tech is also interested in politics. So maybe I can get them on to talk politics one day. All right. Good. Not missing anything here. Dunsford, Darneezy, if you guys are hearing me, I will be back in a little bit. Just going to grab some food, take a short break, then switch over to some gaming. Everybody else on the YouTube side, I'm going to switch over to the YouTube gaming side. This is Philosopher Gaming, or you can switch to my Twitch, twitch.tv/philosopher. Otherwise, thank you guys. Make sure you hit the like button on your way out. Maybe leave some more thoughts on your way out. Thank you so much. And as always, we are going to see everybody here in the next one. If you're staying onto the chat, if you're staying onto the stream, we'll see you in just a little bit. But thank you guys so much. Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye. And have a great night. Thank you, y'all. Much appreciated. YouTube, have a great night. Doses.